All right, so just a few tips for having a healthy marriage. Number one, and this is actually how to have a really healthy life, kind of. And that is if you think of every single little challenge that comes into your life as something that God has allowed to happen in your life because He knows you can grow from it. And really know that this is part of the plan. There is a gift here, and that there will be struggles. There are plenty of scriptures to back that up. So you can Google or go on YouTube and search all kinds of stuff about how to grow in different virtues like patience and temperance, which actually can help you with how to manage anger because it really has to do with impulses. Sorry, my dog wants to come out. Going to get my dog in. Charlie, coming out or not? Oh my goodness, see, this is what he does. He's gonna stand at the door. Anyway, sorry about that interruption. Anyways, lots to be said about that. The challenges are where we grow. So we aren't meant to have these perfect spouses that have no weaknesses, and neither do we. And we are a source of their growth as well. Yay! So that's number one. Number two, just relating kind of to number one, and that is that, when we're young and we fall in love or we find the right guy or the girl or whatever, and, we have these dreams of being happy, and that's okay. That's great. Just that the happiness does not necessarily depend, the happiness does not depend on the other person living life to make us happy. We don't actually it's actually not a good idea for us to even make our choices and decisions about how we relate in our marriage solely on how to make the other person happy. We want to make God happy. Okay, so number one, we want to make God happy. If we're making God happy, then the other person is going to be happier. If we're focusing on just making the other person happy, we're missing a lot of stuff, and we're going to end up with a lot of resentment because we're doing things kind of for kind of like a weird reason. I know it sounds funny. I was kind of like a surprise when I learned this myself, but if you put it into practice, you'll find that it is absolutely true. You want to be doing God's will, not a human being's will. Okay, that all being said, there are certain things, and this would be like the next tip number 3. If you know how to make the other person happy, if there are some nice things that you can do to make the other person happy, why not? Okay, I mean, my husband loves it when I get him a drink. It's a simple little thing. Even if we're like going someplace, going for a ride or something and stop at Cumberland's, and we're going to get a coffee at Cumberland's, I will go in and get both drinks because it makes him so happy. He just loves it. And I've had these little moments where I'm like, shouldn't he be going and getting me the drink? Aren't I supposed to be the princess? And I'm like, wait, oh yeah, neither one of us is supposed to be the princess. I'm just doing this because I know this is something that he, for some reason, loves it. So I try to remember to do things like that more often, to offer him a drink. I know he's, like when I notice that he's tired, or if I'm up and he's not, just try to remember to do that. It's just something that I have, it's amazing how long it took me to learn these dumb little things, but it does make a difference. Okay. The next one is, if there's something that you're doing and you're resenting it, you might want to consider not doing it. Stop and think about why you're doing it, because you're probably going to figure out why you're resenting it once you realize why you're doing it. it depends on what it is, but if you can't think of a better reason to do something than than something that blames the other person for you having to do it, then you probably don't need to do it. You know? So really think about things before you do it. Make sure you're doing what you're doing for a good reason and that you're not going to end up with a resentment, because whatever the thing may be, whatever you may think is important about doing this thing, if the fact that you're doing it is harming your relationship because you're resenting it, it might not seem like a big deal, but it does build up. If you keep doing it, you keep living your life that way, doing stuff that you resent, it builds up and it changes how you feel about the other person. So really stop and think twice. Number one, there might be things that you're doing that you're taking upon yourself and you're thinking that you have to do it. And maybe you don't even have to do it, okay? There may be things that you would do even if that person wasn't even on the planet, but for some reason in your mind, you're looking at how they're living their life and you're thinking maybe they're not doing enough or whatever. And so you're kind of, consciously or unconsciously ascribing the responsibility to the other person somehow, and feeling like you're doing their job, which this is where you really look at it. Why am I doing this? Am I doing it because it's important to me, or am I doing it because he won't do it or she won't do it or whatever? Anyway, I don't know if you can kind of get the idea, but just really think about why you're doing things, and if what you're doing is going to create resentment in your marriage, think twice. Okay, think twice. It may be better off not done. Life doesn't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to get done. It's okay. It's really okay. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself. I mean, we all have our reasons for doing things, but anyway, so those are my main simple tips. There's probably a lot more important things, but these are some things that I learned the hard way. Another example too, actually, on the same kind of a note, it's the flip side. If you're waiting for certain things to get done, and there are important things, or just whatever it is, it's life altering in some way, that these things are not getting done, it's bothering you that they're not getting done, and you're expecting the other person to do those things, or somehow in some way holding them responsible for the fact that they're not getting done. This is another example of where, you might be putting it on that person because of gender roles, or because you think they have the more time, or whatever it is. The fact of the matter is that we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and we all have our limitations and our capacity for what we can accomplish, and for what in our mind is priority, and what we are good at, and all these kinds of things. And the other person might not be good at that thing. The other person might not find that thing to be as important as you find it. The other person may be very busy and focused on other things. There's a lot of reasons why that person might not be looking at that thing as something that is a priority for them to take on. So if it's really super duper important to you, it might be valuable. It might be a great opportunity to learn how to do the thing, and or whatever it is, and just decide whether or not maybe that's something that you want to do, and find out how to do it. Get somebody to help you, whatever it is. Maybe even maybe he knows how to do it, she knows how to do it, and they can tell you, or maybe not. Or maybe you can work extra hours and pay somebody to do it. Or maybe it doesn't need to be done, whatever. But I know that was a life-changing one for me too. When I realized that I could take something into my own hands. I spent one summer, after I realized this, I spent an entire, I don't know about the whole summer, but about almost the whole summer, putting 3 coats of polyurethane on a whole bunch of sticks of wood so that we could pay our neighbor to put it up as trim around our windows. And before that, I was just like being a disgruntled person because I lived in this house that didn't have trim around the windows on the inside. And, and just kind of like subliminally not even realizing I was blaming my husband for that because, I don't know, maybe because he's the guy, I don't know, just whatever. I finally realized that I can actually take part in this process, and I got it done. I figured it out. I figured out how much time it took me to do how many sticks of wood, put it into a spreadsheet, figured out when it was going to be done, and did it day by day faithfully, kept working on the project till it was done, and I got it done. And anyway, you kind of get the idea. All right, so that's about it for now. Anyways, oh wait, no it's not, absolutely not. There's a very, very important one that I just completely pretty much skipped altogether. I skipped it. And that is, oh my gosh, you know how they say, a family that prays together stays together. That is no joke. Pray for your spouse, pray for your children, pray for everyone in your life. And if you can get them to pray with you, that's even better. Oh my goodness. My husband and I, okay, it's been a long road. This was not how things always were, but we are able to pray together. Okay, so just say, long story short, we do pray together. We try to pray together once a day, but and everybody's going to have their way that they go about that. But so anyway, that's about it. And that's obviously, there's a million different things that you can learn. Great communication. I can definitely recommend the book Nonviolent Communication by, I think it's Marshall Rosenberg or something like that. Really great book on communication. But communication is only so good as the people who are communicating's willingness to care about the other person as much as they care about themselves, which marriage is the perfect milieu in which to learn this. And I think that's part of the plan. That's why God invented marriage or something, because otherwise we're just, I don't know, our natural survival instincts are just intrinsically self-centered. We are focused on, our insides aren't telling us how other people are feeling. They're telling us how we're feeling. So we really have to work on growing in the ability to actually care enough about another human being to work on ourselves. And goes back to tip number 1. We're here to grow in holiness. And that is a process that requires a ton of prayer and really just faith that the Lord is helping us with it, because you can try all you want, and you should, but without God's help, we're not going to get anywhere. It's just the way that it seems to me to be true. It seems very much true in my life. That's all I can tell you. All right, so I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day and night, and that that you just take everything to prayer, because don't wait until there's big trouble. Pray morning, noon, and night. Pray always. Ask God to be with you and help you and guide your other loved ones around you. Sorry, my dog's trying to get back in the house now. All right, I hope you guys are blessed by this video, and like it if you like it, and please do leave me a comment if there's anything that any comments that you have about anything that I've said, or if you have any questions or any desire that I should create any different kind of a video. All right, take care. Have a great day. Bye bye.